Hey there, this is Melanie with the Branded Beam. I thought today we would paint one of my bee door hangers that says Buzz Off, and hopefully this won't be too awful long. I actually have my pieces kind of taped together just so I could keep them together while I was waiting, but right. I like to take my pieces and kind of put them in order of color. Yeah, it's going to be black and black and black. These will be white. This one's a pretty simple one. It doesn't really take that long to put together. The flowers, I'm going to try to keep track of where they go just because it makes it easier when you glue it down, but we can always dry fit it first too. Okay, these are going to be the lighter yellow. These are a darker. These are white. I think I got it all. Okay, first thing I'm going to do, did I not get my paint? Hang on, I forgot a color of paint. I can't believe I did that. Hold on just a second. First thing I'm going to do is use this to make it like a stained look for my backer. And I'm going to use baby wipes for that, which gets a little messy, but it's all right. If I can get you to come up here. There we are. I just take a little bit. And there's a few different ways you can go about doing this. Some like to just go ahead and paint it and then take the baby wipe to it, but I just do baby wipe. And the one good thing about this is if it's too dark, the more you wipe with your baby wipe, the more will come off of it. But it dries super quick. So we'll be able to like glue all of our pieces all at once. This kit is currently available in my shop. It does not take very long to really do. I think it takes longer to set up than anything. This is definitely one that can be for all paint levels. If you don't think you're that advanced, this is definitely it doesn't have a whole lot of pieces, and it really doesn't have a whole lot of colors. That's completely up to you. I live in the country, and if anybody shows up at my door, unexpected, unannounced, I'm like, why are you here? So this is actually kind of a cute one for us. You don't have to do inside your lettering. I just am. Makes it easier when you're wiping. Okay, so I'm actually going to take a clean one now. Put that off to the side. I usually use like a brown, but I thought this might be a good color for our bee. You can certainly use real stain, but then you have to let it sit. Okay, I think we're good on that. So I'm actually going to lay this over to the side if I can find a place on my table here. And I have a big thing of white paint only because it's what I had on hand, and I use quite a bit of white paint. So I'm going to pour a little in here. This is just flat white off the shelf. Absolutely can use just regular craft paint, but again, this is just what I had. To do my little pieces, I actually use tape. It just kind of helps hold them down while I'm working on them. Probably need a bigger piece than that. And I can also move it around if I need to. So we're going to do all the flowers in white and the bee wings. Yep, I sure do need another piece. I don't think I'm going to put these on a piece of tape. Actually, sorry, thinking out loud. That's how my brain works. I use just makeup sponges. I actually cut them so that I can get lots of uses out of them. And we're just going to dab. So I put way too much white in there, but it's all good. I'm going to load my brush up. And just dab, dab, dab. We'll probably have to go over these a few times. If you can do light coats, it's always better. You have less of a chance of it getting off on the sides. I personally don't really mind if it gets on the sides a little bit because it's handmade, right? hand painted. Funny little story, when I was cutting these the other day, well, actually I was sanding the wood for some door hangers, and very fitting. This is one of the ones I cut that day, but I was outside doing it since the weather's been nice, and I heard this noise. I couldn't figure out what it was. It didn't register. It like took just a minute, and I looked up because I realized what it was, and it was buzzing. And there was this swarm of bees that just came over my garage roof. And I hurried up and booked it back inside the garage. And I waited a little bit, and I was trying to get my cat in because she had been in the garage with me and she wouldn't come back. So I was like, every man for themselves. So I shut the door, and it was only literally just a few minutes later, and the sound was gone. And so I went back out to make sure that they were gone. They really were. They were gone. And later that day, I heard a noise. And even though we live in the country, we have neighbors and across the road from us. And they have bees. And I don't know exactly the purpose. I don't know that much about bees. All I know is they had a box that was away from the rest of their bees. So I'm going to assume that those bees belonged to our neighbors. And I don't know how they were calling them back or whatever it is you do with bees. Do you call bees back? But it was scary. So, even more fitting for my little buzz off sign here. I use foil just because it's easy to clean up. I don't have to really worry about it. Don't have to wash any bowls except for my white one here, but that's all good. It is not wanting to take on the edge there. There we go. You know, it is really hot here today at my house. I do not want to complain about that. I love the heat, actually. I am not a winter girl, which I'm still not quite sure why I still live in Indiana, but here I sit. But it's really warm today and very humid. My dogs, they keep wanting to go outside, but yet they get out there and then they just get too hot because they're very spoiled because they're both inside doggies. I don't know if I'm going to go over these again. They're a little bit light, but I actually kind of like it. I don't necessarily want them to be like stark white. I honestly think the hardest part for the door hangers is if you don't want to do it like the picture is posted, It's just picking out your colors. All right, one more white color here. I'll tell you, I never thought I was very creative for years, and I found doing crafts and stuff something I've never thought I would do, and I love it. Just a little me time. Let me know if you're like that though too, because I definitely have become more and more and more like that. Okay, I'm going to leave my white right here. And then let's do a yellow. Let's move these just so they don't get any yellow on them. I usually have a smaller roll, like a thinner roll of tape. But I ran out, so we are going with what we got today. Okay, I think for this one, I'm going to use two different yellows. I think I'm going to use this lighter yellow for the insides of the flowers. I would tell you what they were called, but I don't remember right now. And I didn't listen that well in science class, so. And we could be here all day if I tried to think of it. Put a little yellow, pale yellow. I think that's such a pretty, pretty color. Trying to decide which end to use. We'll do the smaller one. I will say I may, we'll see how well it takes. Sometimes with these lighter colors, you want to have a base color. So like a yellow or a white or a gray. We'll darken it up. I know I always have a hard time with like the color red. So I wasn't sure if this yellow would show up, but it looks pretty good. So the wooden kits, they all come with just the pieces. I don't include anything else currently. I just feel like everybody has their own way and style of doing things. Just because I like to dab things doesn't mean everybody else is going to like to dab them. So I figured it was just better. And I don't include paint colors, although you can always ask me what the paint color is. Just because I want this to be yours. You don't have to make it any certain color. I want it to match your home. This is your project. And why is it I'm using such little bits of, hopefully they all fit on here. I'm miscalculating today. That's perfect actually. Yay. Okay, I'm just going to do a bright yellow. This is for the inside of the bee. So we're going to do a bright yellow on this one. or brighter yellow. I think we're going to have to go over this one a couple times, or maybe at least another time. We'll see. I say that a lot, don't I? Okay. That one was easy. Now for the black. Let's put it off there. All right. I actually think I'm going to use another one of these. I always put way too much paint on my work area, but it's good. At least it's inexpensive, right? Now, I will say the black, usually you have to go over, well, I have to go over it a couple times because it always seems like the wood wants to show through a little more. See how quick these are going? Like, we only have these left. Now, I might have to go back over those a little bit, but once we get these done, and since it's craft paint, it dries so quick. So, and we'll be gluing them on. Sorry, words are hard today. Words are hard every day. It's because my brain goes a million miles a minute. I'm hoping to get started on, I'm going to change my office into like a little studio. And I'm hoping when I do that, I'll be able to like put things behind me so that you can see some of the projects that we do together. And hopefully we can do some paint nights. That's kind of what's in my brain today anyway. When we get done, I will put this kit in the, put the link for it in the comments so that you all know where it's at. And if you do purchase one of these, number one, I would be so grateful. But I would like to see what you create, what you come up with. How do you hang them on your door? What do you embellish them with? I can't wait to see that. All right. See how quick that's going? See, I'm too messy. I don't think I could ever use like an actual like artist paintbrush. I do use that for like small little details of, or like if I need to touch up something. But as far as like actually like painting, that's not me. That's just not, if I had to do that, I wouldn't be doing this. I think it's wonderful when people can. Fancier. But I'm nobody's fancy here. So, all right, let's see if we need anything else because we've actually got all of our pieces painted. I definitely think I'm going to put another coat of the darker yellow on these. Perfect. Perfection. All right. This actually looks pretty good. I don't know if you can see that. There's no wood really coming through. Let's see how our white looks. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to go over the black again. Let's do just a little bit more white. Just to get a good coverage. Now I can't do it today because it's been pretty windy. Actually, I'm looking out the window. It doesn't look as windy as it was earlier, but when I get this done, it's all dried and everything. I will spray it with a clear coat. I use a Rust-Oleum clear coat, but that just helps, especially the craft paint. It helps to keep it, the sun from fading it near as much. I do recommend these be on the inside of like a covered door or a covered porch. Just because anytime you have wood, and it's a thinner wood, it just isn't going to last that long. That sun will eat it up, and the rain for that matter. All right, let's look at these. I know it's getting a little bit late on me, but I think next week I I'm going to paint some patriotic door hangers. I have some cute ones. And honestly, I have so many. There's too many to choose from. I love a good patriotic anything. I have this one behind me. I do not have that. That's not listed. I did that one last year. And I actually did all stain on that and not paint, like actual stain. And it took a minute, but I do love the colors on it. Might have already done this one. I'm not sure. I'm gonna do it again if I did. I just realized I meant to get an extra thing of cardboard for when I go to glue them. So I'll have to grab that, unfortunately. Okay, let's go over this black one more time and then we should be able to start assembling. I think we're supposed to have some weather come in tonight. I don't know if it's just going to be rain or if it's severe. I hope it's not severe. Severe weather did not used to bother me, but it does anymore. All right, almost there. We got these two left. a little bit more black, unfortunately. Something I tend to do, I'm a little heavy-handed sometimes. Always have been. And sometimes when I'm too heavy-handed, I tend to like pounce too hard and then I catch myself. So like relax, Melanie, little baby. All right. I think that's done. I poured way too much white paint. I was going to get a cardboard piece, but I'll try to just use this. Okay. Let's get Mr. B together. Now, one thing I do is I use wood glue. I don't have my small little applicator, so I'll have to use my big bottle. I personally like the Gorilla wood glue. You can use whatever wood glue you'd like, but when it dries clear, which is why I like it. It also is rated for indoor outdoor. The other thing I do is I actually use a little bit of super glue just for a quicker adhesion. So while the wood glue is drying, you've got this, and that will help keep it in place. And this isn't instant, like it's not, I don't believe it's like 30 seconds, but it's quick enough that you have like a little wiggle room if you need to move it around. But so I actually use a combination. You can use whatever super glue you want to use. So I think I'm going to start. Let's see if he's dry. I usually start right to left just because I am left-handed and things get in the way. I don't know. That's how I do it. Let's dry fit our flowers first. And the reason why I say dry fit them is some of them are a little bit different size, even though they don't really seem like it. See, that one doesn't fit there. So you must go here. Okay. Just look in here. Okay. So I'm going to put these flowers on first. one thing I do is I like to press down on something else and it just kind of smooths it out so that when I push down on this, it's not going to splatter out everywhere, or hopefully it shouldn't. It helps with that. And then I am going to put just a little bit of my super glue, not much. And this kind, I really like it, but it is a little stringy. And hopefully I didn't put too much there. A little worried about that one. We'll see. But this, I will tell you, if you do use that, if you get it on your hands, it's rough. Like rough. And see, I had a little spill out right there. Oh my, Melanie. Getting a little sloppy there with the glue. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to press it down, wiggle it a little. Like I said, I usually have I usually do this on a cardboard piece, not something like this. I'm going to try to do smaller dabs. We're just going to line it up with our lines as best we can. I do have a little bit of glue that came out on that one. I think it's when I swished it around. Okay. I have seen some people say that they take makeup sponges to smear their glue, and I actually hadn't thought about that, so I may try that. I never have done that. It might actually work really well. Yeah, it's when I'm doing that. I need to quit doing that. Oops. I told you I am messy. There's nothing neat about my process here at all. I have my smaller tip probably wouldn't be this messy either. Okay. I'm going to let those dry before I put the centers in them. Now, this one. I do have like a silicone brush that I use to apply glue with also. And I kind of wish I would have got him. This one's going to be a mess. I do try to put as much wood glue on as I can just because I don't want, I mean, all over the surface is what I should say. Just because I don't want anything to like get in between. I want to make sure it's good and sealed when it's hanging. Okay. I don't think I'm going to put a lot of super glue on the sorry, I'm talking to myself. All right, Mr. B. Put you down. I didn't get him. Like I said, I usually have like a cardboard to work off of, and I should have grabbed it, but it'll be okay. This glue is water-based, so the cleanup is pretty simple. It'll come off your hands if you get any on. Like I have some on my fingers right now. Because again, I'm a little messy. Try not to get any on my dining room table. Okay. Why do I keep doing that? Get some off there. My goodness. I really do know how to glue. My apron's full, right? You do that with the wood glue, not this glue. All right. We are almost down to just the petals and the wings. We are getting there. Well, I moved it. Okay. All righty. Helps if you do it the right direction. All right. This one I think I am going to try because it's so teeny tiny. I will say that the makeup sponge does really help with these little tiny ones. All right, and we got our flowers left, and that's it. So I'm going to do these first since they go inside there. All right, I found a winner with the makeup sponges. Not only good for paint, I like them for the glue also on these small pieces. It definitely helps. Now, one thing I did not do was make sure which way our flower goes. Mm. Oh my goodness. Glad I didn't have a bunch of glue. Okay, it goes just like that. I'm glad I didn't have a bunch of glue on that. It would have been all over the place. Well, I'm going to do it anyway, aren't I? Sure am. Oh my goodness, Melanie. Okay, we are almost done. Okay. You know, one thing I did not do is make sure where these go. Because I don't know that they are all the same. Maybe they are. I think I got these mixed up. See, even I make mistakes on these. There we go. Make sure he's lined up good. There we go. Much better. Now let's make sure he goes there. He goes here. He goes there. Perfect. Perfection. Got some glue. It's all good. All right. And then all we have to do is put our jute hanger in. Get my glue plugged up there. Put a little piece of tape on the end of it, and that way it goes through your holes a little easier. And there you go. Is he not cute? All right. I'm going to put the link down in the comments. Like I said, I will once it dries and cures, I will spray a clear coat. But super cute, sassy little sign. All right. Thanks so much for watching, and I will talk at you later.